Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Once a Jedi attains the rank of Master, it means they have mastered the Force and supposedly themselves. It is not just about how powerful a Jedi is, but an acknowledgement of great wisdom and command of will and emotion, which are the reasons Anakin wasn't given the rank of Master himself. He had the raw power and the skill, but not the emotional control. Yet, the Separatists are led by a former Jedi Master who lost control of his emotions and embraced the dark side. And now Dooku isn't the only Master to have fallen. Depa Billaba, a member of the High Council and former Padawan of Mace Windu, has potentially fallen to the dark side too, and is hiding in the jungles of Harun Kal, which also happens to be the birth world of Mace Windu. As the stern Jedi Master sets out to find his rogue former apprentice, he transverses through the dangerous jungle with the young Korun, Nick Rostu, and his associates, who are escorting Mace to see Depa. But then from the air, Separatist allied government forces attack them in 3 gunships. However, they were not prepared to deal with someone as powerful as Windu. The portion that I'm reading from today is from Matthew Stover's Shatterpoint. It starts right after Mace destroyed one of the gunships and damaged the other 2 enough for them to have to retreat. But as Mace takes in the carnage that he has unleashed, he realizes at that moment, despite the decades he has served on the Council, that like Depa, or even Dooku, I suppose, he too is not immune to the dark side. So the next words are from Mace Windu's own mouth. Or, well, his mind. What happened next I remember vividly, no matter how much I wish I could wipe it from my mind. I couldn't tear my eyes from the 2 damaged gunships that, by then, were mere specks of durasteel soaring into the limitless sky. Nick followed my gaze and said, "Yeah, I know how you feel. Shame you couldn't roast all 3, huh?" I rounded on him. How I feel? I had a sudden urge to punch him, an urge so powerful the effort to restrain it left me gasping. I needed to punch him in the face, to feel my fist shatter his jaw, to make him shut up, to make him not look at me. The understanding in his voice, the knowledge in his cold blue eyes. I wanted to hit him because he was right. He did know how I felt. It was an ugly shock. As he said, I'd wanted to destroy those other gunships too. I wanted to rip them out of the sky and watch them burn. No thought of the lives I'd already taken in the first gunship. No thought of the lives I would take in the other 2. In the Force, I reached out towards the burning wreckage of the ridge face above, searching among the flames. For what? I can't say. I'd like to think I was feeling for survivors, checking to see if there were any people, merely wounded, who might be saved from the wreckage, but I cannot honestly say that is true. I might have just wanted to feel them burn. I also cannot honestly say I'm sorry for the way the fight turned out. Though I took their lives in self-defense and the defense of others, neither I nor those I defended are innocents. I cannot honestly claim that my Korun companions are any more deserving of life than were the people in the gunship. What I did in the past, I cannot call my duty as a Jedi. What I did there had nothing to do with peace. One might call it an accident of war. It happened that this small band of murderous guerrillas accompanied a Jedi Master, and so the spouses and children of a gunship crew have suffered a horrible loss. One might call it an accident of war. Even I might call it that, if it had been anything resembling an accident. If I hadn't been trying to bring that ship down, if I hadn't felt the fever in my blood fever, the lust for victory, to win, at any cost, blood fever, I feel it even now. It's not overpowering, I haven't fallen that far yet. It's more a preference, an expectation, an anticipation that has been disappointed. This is bad, not the worst it can be, but bad enough. I have long known that I am in danger here, but only now am I beginning to understand how dark and near that danger is. I never guessed how close Harun Kal has already brought me to that fatal brink. It is a side effect of the Force immersion of Vaapad. My style grants great power, but at a terrible risk. Blood fever is a disease that can kill anyone it touches. To use Vaapad, you must allow yourself to enjoy the fight, to give yourself to the thrill of battle, the rush of winning. This is why so few students even attempt the style. Vaapad is a path that leads through the penumbra of the dark side. Here in the jungle, the shadow fringe is unexpectedly shallow. Full night is only a step away. I must be very, very careful here, or I may come to understand what's happened to Depa all too well. So both Mace Windu and Depa Billaba are the only masters of Vaapad in the Jedi Order. Mace taught Depa, so it's possible that it's that lightsaber style's flirtation with the dark side that makes both her and Mace susceptible to its seductive influences. Or perhaps there's some strange darkness on Harun Kal that is affecting both of the Jedi Masters in this way, though the same excuse cannot be said of Dooku or the other Jedi who fell during the Clone Wars. In this case with Mace, whether the darkness is an outside influence or it comes from within him, which We actually know that it does, since in the book he does explain to Obi-Wan that he created Vaapad as an answer to his own darkness. It's quite possible that once the Jedi became generals, they then began to move themselves away from the light. As Qui-Gon would say, they weren't really trusting all that much in the Force, it was all just politics at that point. I think Palpatine's destruction of the Jedi came from multiple fronts. I don't think it was just him alone. I think if they were truly Jedi, they really would have been able to take him out. But it was their own dogmatic vision and views, or lack thereof, that really allowed them to be blinded by the might of the Sith. Now, Palpatine did use the dark side to conceal their vision, and then he forced them to become soldiers and bring war and death across the galaxy, all by manipulating both sides, the Senate, the Separatists. The more they fought as traditional soldiers, the weaker the light became because the Jedi were abandoning it without truly realizing it. It was only when they had almost destroyed themselves that he finished the job with Order 66. So what do you think of this theory? And what do you think about Mace actually falling into the dark side a little bit because of this flirtation with Vaapad? Did the Jedi abandon the light, or did they remain true to their ideals to the very bitter end? Hope you enjoyed this video. Catch you in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Now, fulfill your destiny.